There's nothing cooler than when people say to you, "Hey, where's your stupid video?" I'm sorry. Here's my stupid video. I'm Chris Brogan. How are you? Every time I make one of these, I have a theory or a thought or a concept in mind or something I want to share with you or whatnot. I lead into it with this sense that I'm just going to tell you this thing. What I want to talk about today is just this idea that you don't always have to be ready, or you don't always have to know everything, or you don't always have to have all the ideas. And I want you to think about that because it's an uncomfortable feeling, right? Coming unprepared into something is an uncomfortable feeling. And but I think that's necessary. I had this conversation a while back, and it's on the Story Leader podcast. If you haven't listened to Story Leader podcast, but this Mike Bonifer is a storytelling guy, and we were talking about. He's like a real story geek, though. He like loves the history of it and all that. And Mike Bonifer and I were talking, and he said that he was just learning from this guy that bringing your story. It's almost like the difference between improv and scripted or sketch. He was talking about the fact that there's a lot more value isn't exactly the right word, but there's sort of like an enrichment to bringing other people into your story. There's an enrichment into not bringing a fully formed story to bear on conversations or interactions. And I want to get into that because I want to talk to you about the idea that Mike was going after, which was to say that his so here's the idea. Let me see if I can back it all up. You bring what you know, and you bring your experiences, and you bring who you are to an interaction, and then what happens is the beauty is you then say, and so what do you have, and what do you bring, and what's this? I've used the concept picnic. This last email newsletter I sent out, I used the concept of a pickup game. So in my new book, The Backpack, what I'm working on is this idea that if you bring your capabilities and your skills and your personal story, where you're from, the tragedies you've experienced, the pain, the things that you feel are holding you back, but that if you just accept it into you would push you forward, you bring that to bear, and then you say, hey, other people, let's do this thing together. And do this thing could be work, it could be art, it could just be love, right? But we start from this place of we have our backpack all figured out, we have our stuff figured out as best as we can, and we bring it and we say, let's do something together. Let's do a pickup game. Let's do shared story. And that's where it's at. And so I like the idea that if you do a lot of personal preparation, you don't always need situational preparation. Now, we all know that if in a perfect world, everything is better with preparation, right? But there's a whole, so I can talk about this in military terms. So the military does this challenge all the time where they decide what strategy works universally the best out of any strategy that you could put forth in military opportunities. And so the one that ended up winning was this strategy called the OODA loop. OODA, OODA loop. This stands for observe, orient, get into the right position, decide, I'm going to do this thing, act. And then when you get to the end of that circle, you say, okay, well, what happened now? I observe again. I orient. I better change up a little bit. Or this is working. I'll keep doing it. Then decide. I'm just going to keep doing it. Act. You keep acting. Oh, now it's not working as well. You observe. It's not working as well. You orient. You kind of figure it out, right? So that OODA loop is one way of talking about coming to something not fully prepared. And we have to build into our worlds now the sense that it is not a guarantee that what we have to offer, what we're doing, what we need, what we're getting ready to experience, it's not always going to match, and we're going to sometimes have to be prepared in some different way. So it is important, vital, I would say, that in our processes, in our telling, in our figuring out our what we're going to do now, that you don't have to be fully formed. You don't have to have all those answers. You just have to always work on your capabilities, your opportunities to do something. Hey, William, you have to build on what you can carry in your backpack to this situation, and what kind of pickup game can you form to get people to where they need to go, right? We don't need to know everything, and we don't have to have everything ready, and we don't have to have full systems in place for these new things. We just have to bring our abilities and our capabilities, and we have to sort of do collab. We have to do pickup game. We have to do mashup. We have to do more than the one voice handy. That's important. And that's what I want to leave for you. Like I said, it's not advice. I don't want to give you advice. You don't need advice. You have what you need. But we need to sort of put this together, okay? If you want to drop me an email, just chris@chrisbrogan.com. Really happy to connect with you. This is Point of Contact. It's just me staying connected with you. I'll try to do it 10 a.m. every weekday. See you soon. Bye now.